Coming off that loss to the Houston Texans, let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, the Chicago Bears offense. What's going on, y'all? Faiz Sports All back at it with another video talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. And yeah, if you're a Bears fan right now, you have seen this story over and over again. Either which way, I would appreciate it if you still subscribe to the channel. It does mean a lot to me. So you see the title of the video, what's the biggest problem with the Bears offense right now? If you saw my post-game recap, I talked a lot about, what I'm about to talk about right now, but I'm going to go into more detail here because the offense was the main problem yesterday of why we could not win that game. And I guess I'll just start right there, which is the loss actually did not hurt me at all. Like at all, people. I went into that game expecting the Bears to lose. I predicted the Bears would lose. And them losing the game had no, bearing on my emotions for, how I felt yesterday. And it's important to note that because it's not about wins and losses right now as a young football team. It's about development. And so if last night, right, you just changed the score to 29-23 instead of 19-13, and Caleb Williams goes out there and throws for, 250 and 2 touchdowns and no picks, I'm ecstatic coming out of that loss because I feel like, hey, my quarterback is looking like the guy. And not to mention, let's hope the offensive line played well. The play calling was good. Like, I would feel like, hey, we're in a good spot right now. And the only place we can go is up. And let's just continue to build. But that's not what happened. All right? We lost. But not only did we lose, we lost with some glaring issues, which was the offensive line, the quarterback's inaccuracy, and the play calling, the suspect play calling that we saw. So those 3 issues got highlighted last night. And let me just say, I know, like, bigger picture, like if I zoom out here, we're only in, 2 games into a 17-game season, and I'm not hitting the panic button. Like if it's right next to me here, I'm not hitting the panic button. But I think I want to be proactive rather than reactive here, okay? And what I mean by that is I want to find solutions before these problems get bigger and bigger. And the biggest problem with the Bears offense is threefold. It is the offensive line, it's the quarterback, and his inaccuracy, and it's the play calling. So how would I divide up that pie, if you will? To me, I have to start with the offensive line being the biggest issue. Caleb Williams last night got 36 pressures, okay, on 37 dropbacks. Think about that for a second. Caleb Williams last night went 23 for 37, so 37 dropbacks, and he was pressured on 36 of them. That is insanity, okay? Like, you have to try to be that bad as an offensive line. Going into the season, I think most sites had the Bears offensive line ranked as either average or below average. The Bears offensive line probably through 2 games has been the worst in the NFL or close to it. I mean, it might be just like the Panthers are up there, but like it's been that bad. 36 pressures on 37 dropbacks is ridiculous. I want Ryan Poles to literally go ahead and hand that to Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron and literally show that to the offensive line and to show how pathetic they were. That should never happen. And so the offensive line right now, to answer the question, is the biggest problem with the Bears offense. Yes, I know Caleb Williams has been wildly inaccurate, all right, through 2 games, especially with the deep ball. It's been bad. And I know Shane Waldron's play calling is reminiscent of Luke Getsy, and it might be worse through 2 games because he loves his screen passes. But nothing is getting solved until the offensive line starts to play better. I can't develop any plays. I can't make any good passes. I can't get any explosiveness in my offense if the second I snap the ball, I have a pass rusher in my face. That can't happen. I'm sorry. It's just a bad recipe. It really is. You know, it's funny. Going into that game, I said my biggest worry was the offensive line because I know that Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter were going to get pressure and bring the pressure on the Bears. And you would be thinking, hey, the interior of the offensive line is where you're really worried, right? Coleman Shelton's not been good at all. Nate Davis has been terrible. But Darnell Wright had one of his worst games of his career. Tevin Jenkins didn't look good. Braxton Jones wasn't great. Like, the entire offensive line has been pretty pedestrian. All right, pretty terrible. And so it just makes you wonder, like, what the heck? Where do you go from here? Right? Because these guys just have to start playing better. All right, and maybe you can just chalk it up to a bad night, but I'm sorry, I've seen the story over and over again. Like, the time to be proactive is right now. All right? You got to go out and address these issues with the offensive line. All right? Whether that's a trade, a free agent signing, I'm telling you, it will get worse. And for Ryan Poles, making sure that his prized possession in Caleb Williams develops properly, he better, as a former offensive lineman, understand that Caleb cannot develop unless he has the proper protection. All right, so the biggest problem by far, over half of their, problems in terms of the offense, I'd say about 60 to 70% is the offensive line. Then the rest of the pie gets divided with the quarterback and the play caller, right? Caleb Williams, the inaccuracy, that needs to get better. But this is where I'll tell you, if Caleb gets the protection that I believe he should, I have faith, because I've seen it, there's tape, that the accuracy will get better. All right? So I know we haven't seen it in a Bears uniform, at least, but I know if he gets the proper protection, hopefully the accuracy gets better. It's still no excuse. He shouldn't be missing these guys like he has been. I mean, DJ Moore was visibly frustrated last night. I've never seen DJ that mad before, bro. Like, DJ is like the calmest, chillest, coolest guy to have around. Like, he was frustrated. All right? Shouldn't happen. And then Shane Waldron. I guess I see why Seattle fans were happy to let him go, because the creativity on the offense, the rhythm, the timing, it's just not there. The play calling, like, doesn't build off the previous play. It's just all scattered, right? Calling runs when you know the team's really good against the run, and you're literally having DeAndre Swift run into bodies, and, calling screen passes every other play. Like, what are you doing, Shane Waldron? Come on, you got to be better. So I'd probably say 20% on Caleb, 20% on the play caller in Shane Waldron. And that's how I would divide up that Bears offense in terms of that pie chart. All right, so 60% on the offensive line, 20% quarterback, 20% play caller. Overall, Ryan Poles has to look at this and just say, look, we cannot have this story repeat over again. So overall, that's really what it comes down to. Like, I have zero faith in the offensive line. That's why they are the biggest problem, and that's why Ryan Poles, if you're watching this, you probably aren't, but if you're watching this, like, you got to go ahead and get this addressed before it becomes a bigger issue. I have faith in the quarterback turning it around. I have a little bit of faith maybe in the play caller and Shane Waldron turning it around, but the offensive line scares me, man. So the good thing is we have easier matchups coming up here. I don't see teams that have the pass rush that Houston and Tennessee just did, so that's a good thing. But yeah, man, that's the biggest problem with this team right now, the offensive line. And it needs to get addressed. So let me know what you guys think, man. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching.